Hello everybody, if you're watching us on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel or if you're watching us via Facebook, this is the program that we do before the show. This is what's called the pre-show. And the pre-show is just for us to say that, coming up tonight on the program we'll have Connor Summers, who's racing in the Australian National Formula Ford Championship. He also raced at Albert Park last year in S5000. We'll be asking him about that as well as we preview the big event coming up this weekend. Because everybody's in celebration mode. I mean, Doc is especially in celebration mode.
I've straight out of the Metro nightclub into party mode, even though the Metro doesn't exist anymore. They've built a beautiful apartment.
It exists in the mind, and as you can see underneath his Hawaiian shirt, he has a beautiful In Pit Lane
it is,
shirt,
yeah.
which you can in fact buy from In Pit Lane merchandise. So give us more details coming up. But
you can look cooler than me, that's for sure.
We can look very cool. If you're watching us live right now, as I said, when we start the actual recording of the program, during the break, if you've got any comments, if you've got any questions, by all means send them through. Unfortunately, we can't see the questions. We're not sort of set up for that. We'll try and do that next week.
We used to do that back in the day.
We had was bringing in a whole bunch of other equipment, which is.
We used to do the laptop and answer a few questions on the run, but we've upgraded to a few more guests these days, and we don't have as much time as well. But please give us as much feedback as possible. We love hearing about it.
And I hope the audio is working this week. We had some terrible problems with audio last week. We think we've got them solved. So if you're watching right now, anybody out there who's watching, Mad Cow or Box or anybody, regulars from Full Course Yellow, let us know. Let us know that if the audio is okay. It's not going to be television standard every week.
Glad you mentioned it. A big shout out as well too to all the people that are volunteering at the Formula One Grand Prix this weekend. There's a lot of people that watch our show and enjoy it, and they also go out of their way and give a helping hand and make the event as big and as beautiful as possible. Yes,
and we'll be there. Pete will be there all for there, so you can say hi to Pete, and Pete will be happy to see you. Buy him a beer. He'll be happy if you. I think it's official. They can buy you a beer, can they, Pete? Yep. Pete is saying yes. You can buy Pete a beer. You can buy me a Bacardi and Coke. What do they buy you?
Oh, they can just buy me a nice solid Jaeger bomb.
You're working.
I'll be Jaeger bombing him. But if they buy too many beers for Buddy Pete, they'll end up wheeling him out in the wheelchair. So,
he's ready to go. He's easy to move around. That's it.
No, he doesn't. I love Pete.
He's halfway there.
He's a good friend. So
in my case, you've got to pick me up and put me into the wheelchair before you can move me out. So
that's well. Yeah.
Anyway, so if we're ready, if Mike's ready, if everybody's ready, lines people, ball attendants.
As they say in the Western Classics, let's do the real McCoy.
The real McCoy, yes sir. We're going to have the real McCoy right now. So get ready for the real McCoy.
Standing by.
We're standing by.
3.
In Pit Lane, proudly brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing, and custom software. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane on the big weekend of the year, the weekend we've all been waiting for. Yes, this is it. We're all in celebration mode because this is the weekend. It is happening. Yes, WrestleMania is coming. Yes, what a week it's going to be. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Universal title. Australia's own Rhea Ripley. Locally, there's something happening at Albert Park, and we're going to talk about that on the program tonight. That's the Australian Grand Prix, and Doc is in party mode. You're very much in party mode.
I'm in party mode. Just stepped away from the Metro. It just closed down a couple of weeks ago. A new apartment blocks, and I'm just trying to relive my past. But at Albert Park, I think there's a fairly race that's going to take over the bloody nation. I think
there's quite a few races because, of course, the supercars are in action as well, and Carrera Cup and all that sort of thing. And a little bit later on in the program, A driver who was actually in action at Albert Park last year in the S5000s, Connor Summers, is going to join us a little bit later on in the show as well. Also, we've got some great live music from Jules and the Heist. But right now, let's not waste any more time. Let's find out what is happening in the world of local and international motorsport. And it's a time-honoured tradition. I say, this is the In Pit Lane News. Well, the teams, the cars and the drivers are all here, and the big question for the weekend is, can anybody end the Red Bull domination? With comfortable wins in the opening two races, the team looks set to dominate for the season. However, lead driver Max Verstappen is still concerned about the car's mechanical reliability. Speaking to the media earlier this week, Verstappen said that the team needed to ensure it gives both of its drivers the chance to fight for the championship without reliability issues after the recent concerns in Saudi Arabia. So far, the only real outside challenger to Red Bull looks to be Aston Martin, and in particular Fernando Alonso, who's known to be very fond of the Albert Park circuit. Aston's form has surprised many, jumping from midfield contender to potential race winner. Alpine Formula One sporting director Alan Permain said Aston Martin's sudden surge in form had caught everyone by surprise. The Formula One cars, along with the Australian debut of Formula 3 and Formula 2, will kick off tomorrow at the Albert Park circuit. As we record this show, limited general admission and grandstand tickets are still available.
In the Carrera Cup, Melbourne driver Christian Paniccioni is lining up with new sponsorship from automotive retailer Supercheap Auto. It'll also be a big weekend for Paniccioni as he gets to watch his longtime close friend Oscar Piastri make his Albert Park Formula One debut.
Oscar and I, growing up together, obviously we've always dreamt about racing at the Formula One Australian Grand Prix. It's a dream of both of ours to be there, so for sure he's got that experience now that he's passing on a lot of knowledge to me, and I like to think vice versa, but yeah, it's definitely a great experience having both Oscar and I there, and yeah, it would be super exciting for both of us. So on the summer break, Oscar and I just went for a Sunday drive in his papaya orange McLaren. Yeah, obviously being an F1 driver in his McLaren, we did get snapped on the drive. It was not the greatest picture. It was a side profile view of Oscar and I was in the passenger seat, which made it look like I was Daniel Ricciardo. There's worse people to be known as, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'll take it. But yeah, it went viral just about all over the world, so very cool. It's great being able to be at your home race, sleeping in your own bed for a race event is awesome. Having lots of family and friends around as well is very cool. So being on the F1 grid in a super cheap auto Porsche Carrera Cup car is just a pleasure. So I'm really looking forward to the weekend.
Well, it's now been announced that Miguel Oliveira is one of 4 riders that have been ruled out of the Argentinian MotoGP round due to injuries after he was crashed into by Marc Marquez at Portimao last weekend. The Portuguese rider told reporters that he'd escaped any broken bones but had sustained possible ligament damage after Marquez had crashed into him on lap 3 of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Marquez is also out due to a hand injury sustained in the crash. Many riders are angry that Marquez didn't receive a more stricter penalty, with Jorge Martin, who was also taken out in the incident, saying that the Spanish rider received preferential treatment from Spanish-based Grand Prix organisers Dorna. And the Portuguese MotoGP is just one of the stories in this week's In Pit Lane International Wrap.
Reddick has taken his first win of the 2023 NASCAR season with victory at the Circuit of the Americas. Reddick dominated 3 overtime restarts and finished 1.6 seconds clear of the pack. Kyle Busch pushed his way into second place on the last restart, with Alex Bowman finishing third. Former Formula One world champion Jenson Button finished 18th in his first NASCAR Cup race, while Kimi Raikkonen finished 29th after damage in the second overtime restart. Francesco Bagnaia became the first rider to win both the new MotoGP sprint race and the Grand Prix last weekend at Portimao. Maverick Vinales took second place, with Marco Bezzecchi riding for Valentino Rossi's VR46 team finishing third. The race was marred by an incident where Marc Marquez crashed with Miguel Oliveira, forcing both riders out of the race. Marquez has injured his hand in the incident and will now miss this weekend's Argentinian Grand Prix as a result. Australia's Jack Miller was in a battle for a podium, but a mistake saw him drop back in the pack. He recovered to finish 7th, 1 place behind KTM teammate Brad Binder. In front of a sellout crowd, Justin Ashley won in top fuel at the NHRA Arizona Nationals with a victory over Sean Langton in the final round on Sunday. Ashley ran a 3:7:05 at just over 530 kilometres per hour to take his 6th career victory. Robert Hyde picked up his 62nd career win in funny car to beat defending champion Ron Capps. The win gives Hyde the points lead in the series and his 2nd straight Phoenix victory. And Cami Caruso had a memorable day in Phoenix, picking up her 1st career victory with a win over Bo Butner to join Erica Rendez as just the 2nd woman to win a Pro Stock final in NHRA history. And in the first ever Formula E race held at Sao Paulo, Brazil, New Zealand driver Mitch Evans managed to hold off fellow Kiwi Nick Cassidy and England's Sam Bird to take a close 1-2-3 victory for Jaguar. The top 3 were all covered by just half a second.
And the Australian Lawrence brothers have continued their domination of the US motocross season with a win to Jet Lawrence in Seattle last weekend. Lawrence secured his 4th win in 5 races as the Queensland brothers dominate the 2023 AMA Supercross season. His brother Hunter has already won 5 races in the East region, bringing their total to 9 victories out of the 11 events so far.
And 2-time Supercar champion Marcus Ambrose will compete in the Bathurst 6 Hour in a Ford Mustang, as well as joining the TV commentary team for the event. Ambrose will partner George Madecki and Tim Brook in the Class A2 driving a Mustang run by Andrew Madecki Ford. Ambrose was supposed to have driven the same car in last year's race but had to withdraw due to car issues. Ambrose will also work as a TV commentator for the 6 Hour for Stan Sports. At this stage, there is unfortunately no free-to-air coverage of the event.
And if you're unlucky and you can't score a ticket to this weekend's Grand Prix, then there's always an alternative. This Saturday night at Nayora Speedway, junior sedan competitors will race for Victorian Junior Standard Saloon title with over 25 entrants set for the big night. In support with Open Sedans, Junior 1200 sedans, Junior Top Star and New Star 1500 sedans. Racing begins at 4 p.m. this Saturday night at the track at Grundy Avenue, Nayora.
And when we come back after this break, we're going to be joined by our special guest, Australian Formula Ford driver, Connor Summers. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Doc,
Right,
you want to
camera 3, please. Camera 3, if you don't mind. That'd be great. Are you well, yeah, I'm not tired, but are you tired of your business being buried on page 24 of Google search results or page 124? Anyway, look no further than Online Invent, local experts in SEO, web design and software development. Online Invent, and Roy is an absolute genius, know how to make your website and social media profile stand out and get noticed by potential customers. Online Invent boss Roy Allery is a huge supporter of local motorsport and even sponsors us here on In Pit Lane on Channel 31 Melbourne. These ads are absolutely brilliant in themselves. So not only will you be getting top-notch service, but you'll also be supporting a company that cares about our community. So don't settle for being invisible online. Contact Online Invent today, and we thank Online Invent for their support of In Pit Lane, RMI TV and community television in general.
Yes, and we must say yes, thank you to Roy and thank you to everybody who supports the program as well. Now we're just waiting for our band to pop into position. If you come around this side, guys, and come around the back, they're just step in front of the cameras, dive in.
Throw yourself at the cameras. We do, but we end up at second best.
You've got to get there somewhere. It's very tight. It's a very big studio, this, but it is very tight. We have lots of cameras and lots of
We've had a wardrobe change over here. We're looking suave. We're suave. Hey, did you check into wardrobe and they've looked after you with some new threads? Yeah. Good stuff, Braden. He's up for the game. He is. He absolutely. Look at the.
He's getting ready. Well, our band tonight, incidentally, is Jules and the Heist, and you can find out more about. Well, there they are. There's the socials, and we'll put this up a little bit later as well for our Channel 31 viewers.
Hey, Brett, they're local.
They are, well, they're local to us. Yes,
They're
they're local
local.
to us, Doc, because they're out in the sticks. They're out out our way in Purple Bunyip country with us.
I think I might be heading to Berwick in the next few weeks at some stage and having a quiet red. I think in the winter months. It sounds
they won't let me
like
in. I lost my passport. They won't let me into Berwick. Yeah, I can't. I don't have. I've got to prove. I've got to prove my financial credit before I get into Berwick.
I'll get you a dodgy one. I'll get you a fake.
I can get to Doveton.
I'll get you a fake.
Doveton lets me in. I've got no problem getting into Doveton. Doveton embraces me. Hello, Doveton.
I'll organise a fake ID for you.
Thank you. Hey, in Doveton, I don't need a fake ID.
You're there on reputation alone.
Reputation alone.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We're wrapping it up.
Our man tonight is Jules and the Heist, and they're going to give us our first song for the night. A bonus for you watching at home on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. This is Jules and the Heist, and Here and Now.
Reliving the past, looping our memories over and over again. I know it's not healthy, so please remember to be in the moment, my friends. I want to be here and now. I want to be here and now. I want to be here. To be here and now. Ooh, oh, 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 hey, hey. Ooh, oh, 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 hey, hey. Worry for the future, we're writing our endings before we even begin. We'll jump on the same page and find a connection. Be in the present, my friends. I want to be here and now. I want to be here and now. I want to be here and now. I want to be here. Time, but it's when we decide, just like the moon, it rolls with the tide. A time to remember, a time to let go, a time to dig in or just go with the flow. Don't you know? So just be with me, be with me, be with me, be with me now. So just be with me, be with me, be with me, be with me now. Hey, hey, I want to be here and now. Be with me here and now. Be with me here and now. Be with me here.
And that was Jules and the Heist. They'll be coming back and joining us a little bit later on in the program. Thank you, guys. We'll see you a little bit later on.
They got a standing ovation from you.
They got a standing ovation. They got a standing ovation. They did. I think you're doing the whole show like that. You know, like just stand up. But I feel like I've got to have something, sort of about, that feels a lot more natural. Sort of. I don't know why. Right. Not sure why.
It'll give away our vertical challenges, though, if we do.
There. I'm not. The only time I'm vertically challenged is when I'm lying down flat on my back, which is quite regularly, actually. Although not regular enough. Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you later. If you'd like to take a
forward to
make
the
yourselves
A-side.
comfortable, because we're about to go to the second segment of the program, where we're going to be joined by our guest tonight, Connor Summers. We're going to talk about all of his adventures in the world of Formula Ford.
And if you're watching behind the scenes, like the cameras just gave away, you got a sneak peek of him over here on my left.
Yeah,
looking very suave and very dapper in his polo shirt.
Looking very professional.
I was going to say, yeah.
Okay, so whenever we're ready.
We have gurus running around the
we
room.
Have guru. Well, we have a guru. Niall is running around the room, and he's going to do. He's doing guru things as we speak. That's fine. Yes, he's just. He's smuggling.
We got an obligatory Nile wave, which was fantastic.
There you go.
Which I look forward to more than the Queen.
The silhouettes you see passing camera 2 there were Niall and Jewel and the Heist.
And Braden and Al.
Braden and Al. Okay, Jewel. Thank you, Pete. Okay, so whenever they're ready to start it, we'll get back.
Can we just get the host to check his mic?
Hello.
The host or
hello, Casper.
Guest.
Connor Casper Summers here.
Hello.
That's Cam.
One.
Guys just talk a little bit.
Read a cue.
Sponsoring In Pit Lane on Channel 31 and online is not just a great way to support our local motorsport community. It's also a smart business decision by considering In Pit Lane. You'll be reaching. I don't know what that says.
Just regulate any.
And fans. Only will you be
Or
able
just make
to.
stuff. That's what we do. We just make stuff up.
Big thank you.
Have you got it? Yeah, cool.
Big thank you to the auto cue guy who got what we're doing then and actually put stuff and fed it through for us.
Sweet.
Yes,
so thank you. Thank you to our auto cue.
Yes, thank you. So, so you've had a bit of a preview of what's coming up in the next break. We're standing by. I don't know why I'm looking. I got some new earphones. I keep looking. No, I've got the skin stuff though.
Oh. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Well, coming up this weekend is, of course, the Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix. And, of course, as we had last week on the program, Hugh Barter, our guest last week, will be competing in Formula 3. We've got a number of young Australians competing there. We've also got Jack Doohan in Formula 2 and Oscar Piastri in the main event. But, of course, you've got to get there first. And the starting point for most people is karts and then into Formula Ford. And our guest tonight has made that jump and is currently contesting the Australian Formula Ford Championship. Please welcome Connor Summers. Connor, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Now let's talk about your progression. You actually started really young, but not on 4 wheels.
Yeah, 2 wheels. So I think.
How old were you when you were on 2 wheels?
3-4 years old. So yeah, just putting around the paddocks at home. And
PW50?
Sarah 50. Honda, and so started on that, and did that for a bit, and then Dad's like, do you want to have a crack at a go kart? And then had a crack one day in up Puckapunnu and Seymour, and then never looked back.
So, what age did you get into karts? I mean, because there are restrictions on how early you can start.
Yep. So I sort of got into it at the start of junior. So I was probably about 12 years old. So I started in juniors, not like other people where you start in cadets around 7 years old. So I was probably about 12 when I started.
Late bloomer.
Yeah, a little bit, but and then did that for a good 4 years, and then made the step up to Formula Ford.
You made the step up to Formula Ford, but as we said, coming up this week out at Albert Park with the Formula Ones. Last year for the event, we had the S5000, the big S5000. Now you, even though you had very limited experience in mainstream motor racing and in Formula Ford, you actually jumped behind the wheel of the S5000 at Albert Park.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
it's sort of weird. I think we were going to one of the state rounds for Formula Ford, and I said to Dad as a joke, I was like, oh, there's 5,000s are at Albert Park, that'd be pretty fun. And then I think he took that seriously, and then we sort of worked out a sponsor package for it, and then, yeah, it all sort of came out of nowhere, and then we were just like, we'll have a test in the car, and then it all came together.
How long was that time frame between saying, oh, I wouldn't mind having a crack at one of those things, and suddenly you're sitting in the seat?
Yeah.
It's not something that can be just taken lightly, where you're just like having, maybe having a can of Coke over a TV, and then suddenly you're sitting at the Albert Park on the Formula One. So
yeah, for sure. So I did a test day at Winton. And then I did
Which, of course, is famous for its similarity with Albert Park.
And so I did a test day at Winton and then a test day at Phillip Island. That was pretty wild. That sort of scared me a bit.
What car did you jump in? Whose?
So we just hired one off GRM. So it was just one of the ones they had in their workshop. So, yeah.
Cool.
So what was it like? I mean, you'll be watching this weekend, obviously looking on. I mean, from a driver's point of view, how did you find the Albert Park circuit?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool track. It definitely... It's a street circuit, but it feels like a permanent track. Obviously, for the Formula Ones and stuff like that, they've got to make it safe. But yeah, it was pretty crazy, like with just the big crowds and the grandstands and stuff like that. You're not really used to that sort of things. So
before you jump away from these S5000, because it must be so cool to drive one.
Yeah.
And you got some couple of test days in, and then obviously at Albert Park.
Yeah.
What did you like about it, and what did you sort of not? What did you wrangle with? What was?
I just like the power of them. They're just really cool cars to drive. So you're sort of on the edge of them all the time. But I wouldn't say there's anything I really disliked. I was sort of just living it up.
No,
not really. I didn't have any offs. I had a little, like, dropped a wheel or anything like that. But I think I was just more so excited to be driving it. I don't think I had anything that I would complain about.
And I suppose it's one of those things. It's an experience that you even if it never happened again. I mean, you can say I raced at Albert Park in an S5000.
Yeah,
it was which is a great thing, isn't it?
How much do you think you could? Time do you think you get to before you start getting used to and maybe actually taming the beast?
I probably needed maybe another test day or just at a high speed track. Just to get used to the aero, that was the main thing, because Formula Fords are all mechanical grip, there's no aero on them, and then you jump into an S5000, obviously you're following people, you've got aero wash, and just learning to trust the aero. It's
interesting you say that, because that was one of the arguments about Formula 4 taking over from Formula Ford, is that it better prepared you for what comes next in terms of having, like, I've often told the story of going to Macau and talking to Trevor Carlin, and he was saying, look, Formula Ford, fabulous if you want to go, supercar racing, fabulous and all that, but if you want a career in open wheelers, you need to know, you need to understand aero and particularly ground effects and all that. So is that something you'd like to see change within Formula Ford, where there's an element?
I think Formula Ford should just stay how it is. I think it's good that it's got no mechanical grip and it's on a harder tire, like a semi-slick, because it really teaches you exactly how to drive a race car quick. You don't have things to band-aid the speed. So I think it's good just to leave it how it is. I think you still can go over into high speed, wings
Lets
and
you show your raw talent as well too, I suppose.
Yeah, so you're just learning so much in Formula Ford. I think if they put wings on it, it would just take away from what it is.
So you're doing the national series just by yourself. So when's the next round?
Sydney in 3 weeks. So
So have you raced Sydney Motorsport Park?
Yeah, I have a couple of times. Yeah.
So what sort of a track is that? That looks like it's an interesting track. It gets very mixed reviews.
Yeah, I like it. It's a high speed track in sections, and then sort of slower speeds. But it's really good in a Formula Ford, because high-speed tracks are good because you obviously can tow, and there's lots of passing going on, like there in Phillip Island, are awesome tracks to race on a Formula Ford.
So there are a few opportunities in a Formula Ford to pass at Sydney, as Brett was saying, it's controversial in some ways. Have you raced in anything else on that circuit?
No, I haven't. But I could see maybe in the aero, like with the high aero cars, like with aero wash, it would be a bit hard to follow through the high-speed corners. But in a Formula Ford where you have no aero, you can just right up the gearbox into one, and then turn 2 is a good passing spot.
What other tracks around Australia will you get to racing in?
So we had Morgan Park was last week, the week before. We'll go to Eastern Creek and then Phillip Island, Sandown. We're going to Simmons Plains for the supercar round, and then the Bend at the end of the year.
Jeez,
Yeah, so you get a really good sort of mix of tracks, and some of those tracks. I mean, particularly the Island and even Simmons Plains. I mean, you talk about the Slipstream and all that. Great tracks for
they're going to be pretty
that
wild.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, just stay with us for the moment because we're going to take a break here on In Pit Lane. But when we come back, we'll have more from our guest Connor Summers. Also joining us will be our band Jules and the Heist. They're going to play us out a little bit later on in the program as well. It's Grand Prix weekend. It's also WrestleMania weekend, but it's also Grand Prix weekend, and we'll be back with more about the Grand Prix after this break. You're watching In Pit Lane on Channel 31. Okay, can we get our let's get our band back into position and for the next segment, if we could, for those of you who are watching at home. Now, for those of you who are watching at home as well, we just have to say that we mentioned our friends at Online Event and Roy supporting us, but we really do need some support if we want to continue this program. We really do need to continue support. If you'd like to sponsor In Pit Lane, sponsoring on In Pit Lane on Channel 31 and online isn't just a great way to support the local motorsport community, it's also a smart business decision. By sponsoring In Pit Lane, you'll be reaching a dedicated audience of motorsport enthusiasts and fans. Not only will you be able to promote your brand to engaged audience, but you'll also be supporting the training and development of young people in the TV and media production industry via RMI TV student television. All the people behind these cameras, all the people behind the scenes, all volunteers. Not all of them are young, most of them are, and they're all training and getting real world experience.
And they all need a leg up too.
They all need a leg up as well. With the combination of motorsport news, interviews and action, along with live local bands, In Pit Lane is a unique opportunity for you to connect with your target audience in a fun and engaging way. With a loyal fan base and a proven track record of over 26 years, In Pit Lane is a great way to get your product noticed and to build brand awareness in the local community. Sponsoring In Pit Lane's a win-win situation. You'll be supporting the development of young people in the media industry, connecting with a dedicated audience, and promoting your brand to our hardcore motorsport audience, your customers. For more information on sponsoring In Pit Lane, contact us at advertise@inpitlane.com. And we'd also like to say thank you to Bob Taylor for our backdrop photos tonight. Bob, these are from the Adelaide Motorsport Festival on the weekend. Saw these online and said to Bob, can we get them? Can we grab them for tonight's backdrop? And he said, yes, of course. So thank you to Bob Taylor.
It was very gracious of him.
And there's some fabulous shots there. It was apparently a really good weekend. Everybody, the feedback was
attended
fantastic.
as well too.
Well attended and well run. Everybody had a ball.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to those people in Adelaide. Also, before we go back to the show on 31, I will let you know that next week, due to Easter, there will be no In Pit Lane on Channel 31 on Thursday night, but there will be an exclusive online live edition of In Pit Lane on our YouTube channel at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. That's in this particular time slot. So we're going to be here. We're going to have guests. We're going to have news. We're going to have all the usual things. Most of the usual things.
I was going to say we got Easter eggs.
Well, no, I can't have Easter eggs. I'm not allowed.
I'm not coming in. No, I'm out. No Easter eggs. That's all right.
No Easter eggs. Oh, we might bring Easter eggs for you. We'll bring an Easter egg.
You bring Easter eggs. I'll bring some hot cross buns.
Don't like them either.
This is a hard man to please. Absolutely hard man to please. Anyway.
No, you know I'm an easy man to please. It starts with Bacardi and ends with Coke. Okay. So that's next week on the program, and coming up the week after that on Channel 31, after the Thursday after Easter, will be our half-hour dedicated special on the Phillip Island Historic Classic. That's coming up on the Thursday after Easter, coming up on Channel 31 and, of course, on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. We've got all sorts of things coming up.
I've always wondered what your middle name is. I know what it is now.
What is it?
Rum.
No. No, we won't go.
Bacardi and Coke, you said your name has to be rum in the middle. All right. I was going to say, how are we going, Pete, for time?
We've got 4 minutes for this segment.
Excellent.
And for the interview, yep. Okay, 4 minutes for the interview, and then we throw to Jules and the Heist. Okay, so when you're ready, when they're ready, Pete.
Standing by. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Welcome back to In Pit Lane here on Channel 31. Now, as we said, coming up this weekend, the Australian Grand Prix, and Connor, I mean, obviously you're interested in Formula One. But it's interesting that when I have a look at your bio, Formula One is not the intended pathway. You're looking at some alternatives.
Yeah.
Why is that? And one of them is IndyCar. Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. Just America always seemed to interest me. Just sort of the lifestyle and the racing they have there looks really fun. It's good hard racing, so that's probably enticed me a bit more than.
Is it more realistic now? I mean, we had Hugh Barter on the show last week, and Hugh sort of had to. The whole family basically had to up stumps, go overseas, relocate to Europe, just totally change things. Whereas there are still opportunities, as we're seeing with Nathan Hearn, who had a mixed weekend, but mostly good weekend in Trans Am on the weekend.
Yeah.
And of course, with Scotty McLaughlin and those guys in IndyCar.
Yeah.
Is that something that's sort of looking at where you think that it's a more realistic approach?
Yeah, for sure. It'd probably seem more realistic approach to get to America. There's a lot of guys doing it now, like coming from Australia and going to America. So it definitely looks like an option for sure.
What's your next step then? If you want to get to Trans Am or you want to get to IndyCar, where do you go next from here in Australia?
I don't know. Sort of looking at a couple of options. It depends sort of where you want to go down. Like if you want to go the supercars route, there's in a Super 2 or Super 3, but then there's Carrera Cup and stuff like that, and that can also open doors into America.
The Super 2 and Super 3 have just had their cars upgraded because obviously the Gen 3 cars, so everything's superseded down, so you're going to be going up to some good current spec in that sort of area now.
Yeah.
But you were talking about before your dad saying, on a whim and a prayer, let's go in the Albert Park in S5000.
Yeah.
How hard is it to get sort of a sponsorship or a budget together these days? It must not be easy.
It's not easy, no, for sure. It's definitely getting harder, but I mean, I think everyone's in the same boat, so you just you got to keep trying to, it's definitely hard, I'm sure. Just as best you can, just keep asking
Certainly
people.
one area that we've spoken about where a lot of options seem to be coming up at the moment is sports and GT racing. I mean, you're looking at that sort of area as well, because things like the GT3s and some of the IMSA racing in the States.
Yeah, for sure. I'm open to anything that's got 4 wheels on it. I'll have a crack in it. So, yeah, for sure. The next step is still undecided, but for us, we're just mainly focusing on what we're doing at the moment.
So where are you in the championship after the first round?
5th or 6th or something like that. So it was a bit of a messy weekend, but that was on me. But we'll sort it out for the next round.
What's the qualifying? Do you qualify? Is it all different each different circuit? Do you have to qualify differently? Or is there so many different laps? Is the configuration the same all the way through every circuit you go to?
Yeah.
Or you have to do some different change-ups every now and again?
So you sort of all the process is sort of the same. You have a qualifying and then one race and then 2 to 3 races. So they're all pretty much the same format, which is good. But you alter obviously your quali runs here and there depending on the track. But majority of the time it's the same.
Is there much to change on the car? Suspension or for different tracks? I'm going to say, do you change the diff or gears or anything?
No, we can't change the diff. The diff's locked. We can fiddle with ratios, so you can't change first gear. First gear is a locked ratio, but you can sort of fiddle with second and third. Formula Fords are really good. You've got a lot to play with. You've got roll center, springs, shocks, ride height. So they're really adjustable cars. So you can play with lots of different things. Yeah.
Well, good luck coming up. So, first of all, your tip for the Grand Prix on the weekend?
I think Max is going to get up, isn't he? Yeah, he looks pretty good.
You sure of that?
Yeah, I reckon I'll put good money on that one.
And the big one, of course, Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes?
I'm not really sure about that one.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
I think you got more chance of getting Checo through.
Okay, well, thanks, Connor. Thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Appreciate it.
And thank you to you at home. Now, taking us out tonight, our band Jules and the Heist. They're playing at 81 in Berwick on 15th of April. You can check out their Instagram and Facebook pages for all upcoming dates. And right now, they're going to take us out with their song, Down For It. So until we see you next week for our post-Grand Prix show, this is Jules and the Heist and Down For It. Good night.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I've got no sound.
We lost the guitar for some reason.
Throw.
So what do you want to do, Pete?
What do you want?
You right?
Do you,
Yeah. Do you want to? You right, mate?
Jez is coming in to fix the guitar.
Okay, Jez is coming in to fix the guitar, so Connor we'll chat with you more and more. As they're fixing the guitar in the background, the S5000, I mean, a fairly audacious sort of thing. What was the feedback you got from sort of the drivers? Did you have sort of many people going, too much too soon, friend?
No, not really. I was pretty lucky. I had Jordan Boys with me, so he was helping me out a lot last year, and so he'd had experience in the car, and so it was really good to have him because he could sort of teach me some things and work some stuff out. But I mean, maybe people were saying that, but I didn't really hear anything about that. Yeah.
Is S5000 something you want to do?
Yeah, for sure, it's an option. Like it is an option. Like if you want to go to America in an IndyCar or something like that, like it's a good car. Like I really enjoyed it. So it's an option for sure.
Okay, I think from the sound of it, I think it's a guitar.
Sort of right.
It's very easy to do another throw.
That's all right.
Sorry, thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you want to do this, Pete? Do we want to
Just throw to it.
throw to the band? Throw to the
The
band.
band again.
Okay. So this is why. So
Standing by.
I'm hoping. So I'm hoping that we've got a nice strong cut somewhere that I can cut out of saying thank you to Connor Summers for joining us, and our band tonight taking us out are Jules and the Heist. They're playing at 81 in Berwick on the 15th of April, and you can check out their Instagram and Facebook pages for all upcoming dates. But right now they're going to take us out with the song Down For It. So until we see you next week for our post Grand Prix show, from all of us here at In Pit Lane, it's good night, and here is Jules and the Heist and Down For It.
We've had our cake and we've eaten